Welcome in XLs to another build overview for the new Wyvern bow. Guys, we have done it. We have solved the single target damage for the build. We have actually taken this build to the next level. Now the cool thing about this build is you can use a wide variety of skills, spells that you want to use with this build. And I've kind of used a whole bunch of different things with this build, and I've been farming like crazy for the past few days. I've been playing a lot this weekend, and we finally got everything put together so that I can give you guys this nice build overview, and you can kind of take from it what you will and build how you want. But in my opinion, this is probably one of the best versions of the build that I can put together here so far. With the currency that I finally got, you guessed it, a mage blood, guys. I've been farming like crazy. We've been getting loot like crazy, and we just made a ton of currency and got our mage blood. So I can finally get you guys the POB for the mage blood. And let's kind of go over the build. Essentially, basically how it works. You get battle mage on a bow, which is really nice. But the thing is, you trigger a socketed spell when you hit from this weapon. It freezes a target. Now, of course, this is pretty awesome because you don't have to rely on crit with basically cast on crit spell link on your bow and all that kind of stuff, or in your links here. So you can actually add an additional cast on crit link if you like into the build and have another spell to use. Now the cool thing about this is you can use a 6-link spell. Nothing has to be attributed to triggering the spell except freezing, hitting hard enough to freeze. And yes, you guessed it, the Garb of Ephemeral had a huge buff in a recent patch, guys. This is buffed to 70% more elemental damage during divinity, which is insane for an elemental build. We're pretty much scaling elemental damage with the Wheel of Toll, so this is a great combination. So I've switched over from the Herald stacking build to the Wheel of Toll, and guess what we're bringing back? That's right, Hatred. Hatred is back with this Wheel of Toll. And of course, we're using this with spells that are physical damage based so that we can convert that juicy physical damage to insane amounts of extra cold damage. And yeah, we're stacking cold damage, double dipping, so you get a ton of cold damage. You're getting 100% of damage from our skill tree and from a light of meaning and from the graphs. So we're getting like 110% from our graphs. And it's pretty insane because we are also, you guess it, 90 all res using a melding of flesh and just a singular sapphire flask with the period of ice. That is how much aura effect we're getting from this Wheel of Toll with all of our cold damage stacked up. Now this is absolutely amazing because not only are we getting good defenses, we're also getting amazing damage two different ways, from the aura effect and from just the cold damage itself. And of course, we want to be able to convert fully, the remainder of this physical damage to cold. And I think I would just need to get a little bit more on my glove or something. I'd have to get a glove with the conversion because there's still just a little bit of physical that I can turn over to some extra cold damage, which would be pretty nice. So I would just need to upgrade my gloves and use an awakened cold penetration in one of these links here. Yeah, I would take this out and use awakened cold penetration here, because I no longer need that because I just updated the build today. I got a new timeless jewel. We updated the tree to kind of like the best version of the tree that I think is possible here. But guys, this is the biggest upgrade, is these two items. You have to get these items if you're using this build, whether you're using vortex or projection, or with the frost bolts, or if you're using the physical, you decide to switch over to the physical spells. This is insane damage just from this chest alone. 70% more elemental damage on top of everything. It's just insane. And pretty much this solved single target for bossing. I'll have the clips in the video of showcasing T17 bosses, pinnacle bosses with this chest. And if we keep scaling high enough, I don't know, maybe we could do some Ubers. I don't know. I think we could. The damage in the POB says it's pretty absurd. It's like 20 million on the Reap hits with the Vol Reap and the regular Reap. So Then, of course, I have to add in the Ice Shot of Penetration, and I'll use the Vol version of that as well, which would be even more damage. This is pretty nice. This is looking pretty nice, guys. I think I have solved the single target for sure. Other thing that's awesome about this chest, you can get some nice implicits on this, synthesized implicits. So we have physical damage taken as chaos. We got some attack speed extra during onslaught. You can get things like frenzy charge on hit, really expensive. Discipline R effect, all kinds of cool stuff, synthesized mods. And yeah, you just find you a nice one that you feel like you can use in your build and go from there. For our gloves and our boots, still the same. I did update our quiver. Now, if you're not using a bone chill setup like this, say I'm using a bone chill setup with cold snap so that I can ditch the Ahona. This gives you a ton more crit chance multiplier for your bow so that it hits harder and freezes bosses and triggers that nice juicy wyvern spell hits. The other thing is you can also get physical damage as extra cold damage on this, and yeah, pretty nice. I double corrupted it just for fun because I don't need crit. Because guess what, guys? We're using the Unseen Hue Opal Ring. This gives us free brittle odd monsters and bosses. Basically how this works, I'll explain how it works. The way it works is you use a prismatic burst in your 6th link. Prismatic burst is a prismatic skill, so it always inflicts brittle. Now the thing about this is very carefully choose an element at random, deals damage to that type in the area. Having higher strength means fire, dexterity means cold, intelligence means lightning. So we have our dexterity as the highest skill, so you want to make sure that you tattoo up and make sure your dexterity is higher than your intelligence and your strength so that you're triggering the cold damage from this the most, and that triggers the brittle on the monsters, which is pretty nice. And it's a ton of extra damage. Like, it does pretty good damage on its own, even with the so you see there 46% chance with the dexterity, and it does insane damage as well, especially if you have divinity up. So guys, this is a pretty sick build, I think. Now for reap, this is what I like to use. You could go either reap, or you could use like Stormcrawler Tarthis. You can use a Sing Grenade. You can set up a 6-link cast on crit in your chest, and use reap in the chest, and then use a Sing Grenade to map farm. If you're going to be doing single target, if you're going to be doing bossing, this is the best setup. Of course, you'll use Awakened Cold Penetration here. You could get like some, instead of having exposure on hit, I would just get the Awakened Cold Penetration, level 5, which would give me that exposure, and then change this over to convert the last bit of this to physical to cold damage. So I'm going to upgrade my gloves here pretty soon. But this is the build update. Now this has been a build in progress. We've been working on this. It's so fun to build with new items. And I'm pretty much just using all new stuff this league. I don't think I've used anything from, from past leagues really. Like in terms of a build. Other than my league starter. I started with like some slam stuff. And then as soon as I got that axe, I just started stacking life. Made a life stacker. Then I bought this bow early on because it was pretty expensive, and I just wanted to get a perfect one. And they kind of the price kept going down and down. I was like, yes, nobody cares about this bow, even though it's really amazing. But people just don't care about it when it's actually really powerful. For the cost that it's at now, and the fact that not many people's playing it, it's really good. In terms of its ability and playability. Like, this is a really strong bow with this setup. And I'll show you guys in the video, like, you can do everything with this build. Even before the Mage Blood, I was just clearing maps, and I was able to kill a T-17 boss. I was able to tank his, that big hit that usually kills you in one hit. We had a lot of potential on the build, even before we got Mage Blood. You can throw in a Headhunter, you can use Tides of Time. There's so many options even if you don't have Mage Blood. The Mage Blood doesn't do anything but give us even more defense and speed. It allows us to max our elemental resistances out very easily. using this new combo with the Period of Ice, Hatred, and the Will of Tull. Pretty nice. So you have a great option. You can stick with your Vortex, or this is a little easier on the eyes with the you could use a Sanguinate, Chain, use Reap and a cast on crit. You could use Storm Call of Tarthus. Pretty fun to use it. This is kind of similar to the Vortex playstyle. You use this with these three with Cascade, and it just triggers a Storm Call of Tarthus everywhere. And I probably would want to use an Awakened Spell Cascade for this if I was going to go this route, which I'm going to upgrade here soon because I had some big sales today, so I'm about to upgrade this build substantially to the next level. We're going to get some new setups here, new gems, and I'll have a link in the POB as well with the updated skill tree. I think this is the final tree. I think this is a really nice tree, guys. I've got my my clusters all very nicely done. Nice high rolls on the energy shields. Pretty decent. You know, it could be more, but it's good enough. The important thing is the cold damage, because you're stacking cold damage because of the Wheel of Tull. I did get a new Timeless Jewel, so the tree changed a lot from the Lost Unity style of it with the Herald stacking. So we have Eternal Subjugation. With this is actually really nice because it gets rid of having to have Power Charge on Critical Strike. And this is really nice for your defenses. You know, you get your Endurance charges every second if you've been hit. Nice defense. This is a little trick we use for more cold damage with the Unnatural Instinct. It also gives us a lot of accuracy, some spell suppression, some crit chance, some evasion. You know, unfortunately, this is life here. I don't need that. But I couldn't find any spots that I think would be better. Doesn't seem like this is like a good spot. This is life stuff. Stuff I don't need. I don't need any of that. I don't need mana and recoup. So this felt like the best area to kind of put that in. We're using this kind of cool tech with the new Valborn stuff. So get more energy shield from, you know, 6% on each of these instead of 3%. Pretty nice little setup there. Hits a lot of int. If we could travel down, we could get one more there if we want it. Pretty much got all of my tree tattooed up. Just because I want to make sure that I'm hitting, you know, the requirements for Prismatic Burst. And of course we got our golems and all that kind of cool stuff. This is a current tree. Now if you really wanted to get more tanky, you could get some Forbidden Flame Jewels to sacrifice a little bit of cold damage, energy shield, and crit multi. For Forbidden Flame and Flesh Jewels, you could get Shaper of Winter. What else? You could get Frigate Bond, or the one that gives minus 20% cold resistance and chaos resistance, and the life regeneration, whatever that is, from the Occultist. You could get Explodey from Occultist, all kinds of cool stuff that you can add into the build through those two jewels. You just be giving up 2 slots, which is about, you know, 30-ish% of cold damage. But we also use Ghost Reaver with our Spell Leech. We also have Attack Damage Leech. So every attack we're leeching double. And in the POB it shows that we're leeching a ton of energy shield from our attacks and from our spells really nicely. And this is a tree here, guys. I think this is really nice. We've come a long way with our skill tree from our first set of builds. You see, I've been messing around so much, trying to do stuff. I think I even traveled all the way down here and done some stuff. I traveled all the way around here. I was doing some stuff over here with some impossible escapes. But I think ultimately this is the best setup. I'm trying to figure out if there's any impossible escapes that I could use to get anything cool. But I don't think I need anything else. There's nothing else that I really need to jump to get. You know, some physical damage, some crit multi over here. I think with an impossible escape I could reach that crit multi. Some projectile attack damage. I could get some physical damage. I'm not sure what all I could reach with that impossible escape, but I don't think it would be worth it. Just for 40 crit multi. But yeah, this is the tree. Of course, the POB will be in the description. I'll have some videos of the kills showcased here. I'll run a quick map with the divinity. Maximum hull risk. Okay. I'm just gonna throw in a quick map and show how strong this divinity thing is. I mean, it's insane. And of course, we changed to Rain of Arrows of Saturation for our mapping and clear. I like Rain of Arrows of Saturation because it continuously fires. So after you fire off, it keeps firing. You also have the Vol version. Wow, that's a tanky beast. Of course, I didn't use Arcanist brand on him. So this is what divinity. Holy cow. And I have videos of the T17 with Divinity fighting the map boss. I'll have that included in the video as well so you guys can get an idea. Probably going to throw it at the beginning so you guys can see up front what you're getting. Okay, let's see if we get our Divinity here. Okay, they're gonna die before I get. Okay, now they got Divinity. 600. We're doing like 20 million damage with Divinity. This is amazing, dude. I can't believe they buffed this to be that insane. This is an insane chest now. I'm surprised people are not talking about this. 70% more elemental damage is insane. And it's so inexpensive. That is insane. I didn't even use my Arcanist brand on the boss there. So they didn't have Frostbite and all that stuff. Like, I don't even have to move. Why am I dancing around? I'm like dancing around like I'm using Thunderstorm. Like, I've been using Thunderstorm so long that I've been used to the run and gun playstyle. Plus, I love how you look when you get Divinity. That's pretty awesome. Pretty sick. You get 10 seconds of it. 10 seconds of 70% more elemental damage. And of course, you just start stacking your next Divinity up with more hits. You have been captured, beast. There we have it, Divinity. Nice. So, build is amazing. I'm loving this build, guys. It's been so fun making this build and finding all the cool stuff to do. Like, this was the biggest find here that changed everything. This changed everything about the build because I was struggling so hard. We struggled with the life version. We upgraded to the Whisper's Infinity, solved that meta issue that we were having, solved the life issue, survivability. Now we have solved the single target damage with a hidden banger. I can't believe this thing got buffed. 70% more elemental damage, guys. Get you one. If you're playing this build, this is a must-have in the chest slot. Forget the 2000 extra energy shield. This is must-have. Must-have. I already got rid of my energy shield chest. I lost about 1,800, 2,000 energy shield for 70% more elemental damage. I'll take that trade any day. Any day. So get your, this is the absolute must-have for the build. And pretty much everything else, must-have. Wheel of Toll if you're going to be doing the physical version of the build. Highly recommend this if you want to get the easy max res physical version. Convert the physical spells to elemental damage, cold damage. Get you a new chest, get you the bone chill set up, and stop using, you won't have to use the Ahuna Quiver anymore. And there we have it. This is the Mage Blood version. If you're using a non-Mage Blood version, Headhunter, you can use Tides of Time with triple Ellie Flask. Use Headhunter with just different flask, elemental resistances and stuff like that. Movement speed, all that kind of standard stuff. Nonetheless, I was playing this build before Mage Blood. I tried Headhunter. I tried Tides of Time. I also used this one here. The majority of the time I was using this here, the Foulborn Oxium, because this gives you a ton of damage per power charge. So you're getting a ton of extra elemental attack damage for your single target. So this is what really helped before I found this. Now, if you use this and this, you're going to have a ton of extra damage. Like this gives me T17 bosses, Pinnacle bosses, regular Elder bosses, all of them fools. This erases them when you get a divinity. Like it just does insane damage. And there we have it. You can also use a Torrent's Reclamation for the not the cooldown, but because we don't need cooldown. I feel like I haven't had any trouble with cooldown because I don't have an attack speed that's like super insane, where I'm gonna have to you know, get the cooldown to a certain point. I feel like everything is just very smooth in with the cooldown that I have currently, which is just 20% on my boots. I did have some jewels that I tried and I didn't see any difference, so we're gonna go from there and try to get some more sales. And I need to upgrade my gloves and get an Awakened Cold Penetration and Awakened Spell Cascade for mapping. Lots of cool physical spells you can use. Storm of Tarthus, you can use Blade Vortex, Blade Blast of Unloading, all kinds of cool physical spells that work very well with this build. And I think that covers everything, Exiles. I hope you enjoyed the video. This is a must-have. Get it, Exiles. This build is amazing. And I'm going to keep playing this build. And I think eventually I may want to try like an Original Sin version or something. I don't know. But this chest is like, I think this chest is miles ahead of the Original Sin. 70% more elemental damage is insane. It's insane. Especially with what we're stacking. So P will be in the description. Until next time, Exiles, remember to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't, so that you don't miss out on future videos like this, hidden bangers with these cool new items. Like I don't think I've used anything from the past. Like I said, I've been making stuff with all the new stuff. So we'll keep playing this a little bit more firm, and I'll see what build I want to do next and go from there. Peace out, Exiles.